Hello, Chris here, Green Sabre. Welcome to episode 10 of Green Sabre's Doom Telly. And today's episode, finally, that I've got around to, as you can see, I'm a bit baggy under the eyes and so on and so forth. I've just and so recovered from a horrendous cold. Very nearly killed me, but I survived. And I'm just and so well enough to bring you this video. So, episode 10, Albums of the Year. Some kind of fanfare needed there, I think. But, yeah, Albums of the Year 2022. Any of you that follow my Instagram, I do an Album of the Year kind of countdown every year and have done since about 2016 or 2017, I think. This year has been ridiculous for not just the amount of releases, the amount of quality releases. Usually when I do my Instagram countdown, I'll get it down to like a top 15, something like that, top 10, top 15. And it's reasonably easy to compile it. I have been here weeks trying to get my shit together to compile a list on this one. I roped in the help of the rest of the band. Gaz was more forthcoming on that one. Gaz has got his finger on the pulse with these things. He knows what's going on. And a lot of these that are on my list, I wouldn't have known about were it not for Gaz and a few other friends that will get a salute and a mention throughout this video. But anyway, there's a fucking ton to get through, so let's crack on, shall we? So, Albums of the Year 2022. Like I say, phenomenal year, and where to start? So what I've done a top 25 with lots of honourable mentions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the countdown 25 through number 16. Then I'll do my honourable mention. Pardon me, I'll do my honourable mentions. Now, I did have a bit where albums that I thought were shite this year, but as an artist myself, I think it's sort of unfair to say an album, nothing's ever shit. This is something that someone has created. Probably albums that I was just disappointed with. So I'll run through them now before I go any further. But yeah, just disappointed with. Really, it was the sort of repeat offenders, and I'm going to mention here, Ozzy had an album out this year. He really should stop. But I'm going to be controversial here, as it's the end of year show. I never really got Ozzy's solo stuff. I think most of it's awful. But that's just me personally. Ozzy Sabbath, yeah, Jesus Christ. One of the greatest bands ever of all time. Ozzy's solo stuff, I can think of about 4 songs that I like, which from like 1980 or whenever the fuck he started doing it, it's pretty slim pickings, quite honestly. But anyway, so Ozzy released another album that was meh. Machine Head released another album that was meh. Slipknot released another album that, again, they bore me to tears now. Slipknot did 2.5 good records for me. Lamb of God, don't get me wrong, Sacrament is one of the great albums of the noughties, or whenever the fuck it came out. Was it 99? Anyway, whenever it was. Fantastic record, but they've just been flogging the same old tired horse for years now, and this album's a bit more of the same, only they sound ever so slightly more like Pantera than they already did. Who else have I mentioned? The new Megadeth. Fuck. I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying, a bit of a return to form. I mean, it's thrash by numbers for me. And I already had issues with Dave Mustaine's voice right throughout the whole Megadeth lifespan. It's just horrendous now. And I can't listen to it. I just cannot listen to that voice. So therein why the new Megadeth just really has had no spins out of me at all. The other album that everyone's been banging on about this year, and I do not fucking get, Zeal and Ardor. I just don't understand it. I went to watch Meshuggah earlier in the year in Manchester with my bruv. Meshuggah were fucking outstanding, by the way. And they will crop up later on. And Zeal and Ardor were the support. And I just remember, I think it's because I'm an old bloke now. And I don't understand youth culture. But me and my brother were just sort of looking. Zeal and Ardor got an amazing reception and went down tremendously. And me and my brother were just looking at each other throughout their performance thinking, I do not understand what people are lapping up here. It just felt like the odd Meshuggah riff here and there with one of the most contrived attempts to be slightly different that I've ever seen. So no, did not fucking work for me. So anyway, that's a very quick list of the albums that just aren't on my list because they made no fucking sense to me whatsoever this year. So anyway, let's crack on. 25 downwards. And coming in at 25 is the album from Ukrainian black metal giants Drudka. Is that how it's pronounced? Drudka? Yeah, what's the name of the album again? All Belongs to the Night. Yes, that's the one. Yeah, cracker. Now, this wasn't originally, like I mentioned on my Instagram before, this hadn't made my original 25. And it was when Gaz sent me his list of albums of the year that he reminded me that I'd fucking forgotten all about it. Which makes you think, well, if I'd forgotten about it, how did it get on the list? But like I say, there has been that much quality this year that was one of them where came out, loved it, had a few spins, and then sort of disappeared, just got swallowed up by everything else that kept coming out every fucking 5 minutes. But yeah, number 25, because it's a cracking album. Does what they do brilliantly. And yeah, loved it. 25. So 25 through 16, you will quickly realise that I'm not going to go into a tremendous amount of detail with most of them because there isn't the fucking time. And I've already wasted 6 minutes, look. Right, anyway, number 24. A work of fabulous, sludgy, doomy, stonery excellence. King Bastard. It came from the void. And again, with some of these, like the Drudka one and this one, there'll be images inserted because I've had to rein in the vinyl spend this year. But anyway, I'm going off topic. So I don't have a hard copy of a lot of these, actually, as it is just the digital download that most of the time I've got via Bandcamp, kids. Please go via Bandcamp. Band gets more money that way. But anyway, yeah, King Bastard, a cracking record and heavy as fuck. I think it was the track It Came From The Void, was it? Was the first one they released off of it. The first one that I heard. And I was hooked from that point onwards. So that makes my number 24. A cracking album. Great release. Number 23. Chris Reifert's first of 2 entries this year. Static Abyss. I can't remember the name of the album because I've forgotten to write it down. And again, it's a digital download. I don't have a hard copy of it. But cracking. And I've seen some people say that this is Chris Reifert's best release this year. They're wrong. Autopsy's album is. But anyway, but yeah, it's with the new guy that they've got in on bass in Autopsy as well. And it's just fucking ace. It's just really sort of balls to the wall death metal. Slightly slicker in sound. I'd go so far as to say there's a slightly more punk vibe in places, but I might be wrong. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, number 23, Static Abyss. Great album. And I mean, this came out before the Autopsy one as well, so it was a kind of a welcome. At that point, we weren't sure whether we were getting an Autopsy album this year. But yeah, so that was a welcome bit of Reifert to cheer us up as the year went on. Number 22. Now, again, if you've seen my Instagram, this was a lot higher up, and then I realised that it was far too high up because it hadn't had the way that I've tried to do this is the amount of plays that each album has got. And the more plays that it got, then the higher up the list that it is. So, in that case, falling, as of a week ago, Conjurer's new album, Pathos. Now, this was a Conjurer, a band that I've not really come across, if I'm quite honest with you. And it was also has been part of the Damnation Festival forum on Facebook. It was people kept mentioning them on there. That's where I've seen lots of mentions of Zealanada as well. So I kind of I was cautious at first going in. But Conjurer, Pathos, great album, really fucking heavy. Some technical little licks in there, a bit of sort of Black and Death vibe about it, and a great album. So yeah, most of you were way ahead of me on that one, but if you're miles behind like I am, check it out. It was a great album. Number 22, Conjurer. Number 21, Devon Townsend, coming in with Light Work. Now, his last release, Empath, was my album of the year of, when was it, 2019? Is it 2019? I think it was 2019, yeah. Empath was my album of the year, an absolutely stunning piece of work. Now, I know that Devon Townsend polarises a lot of people, that they find a lot of his stuff a bit musical theatre for their liking. And I can understand that. A lot of his really ambient, more easy listening stuff is a fucking hard sell to a lot of straight up metalheads. I get it, because I hear the Zappa vibe in him. I can hear that slight element of, you could tell that he used to be in a band with Steve Vai, let's put it that way. You can hear that slightly fusion-esque jazz metal vibe coming into his stuff. I just think he's a phenomenal songwriter. So you're thinking, 21 though, Chris? Yeah, maybe he should be higher. However, this is one of his more ambient, relaxing vibes that he's got on this. And again, he's fucking hit the mark at what he does, like he always does. Just, I would say it's lower down in the list for me this year because I wasn't in the ambient vibe. I've been far more in the just bang your head, fucking fat, horrible, crunchy riffage. Yeah, I've just wanted to listen to louder, heavier, more depressing stuff. So, hence why it's at number 21. But another great release from Devon Townsend in Lightwork. So yeah, 21. Coming into the top 20 now. This was a late entry, but I've been recommended by a friend. Just before I actually got to see them live, supporting Conan, only a few weeks ago in Leeds. Grave Lines and the album Communion. Fairly new edition, but like I say, based this on listens. When I did get round to fucking listening to this, I played it to death, and it's a worthy addition to the top albums of the year because it's got all that sludgy doominess that I like, but there's something slightly different about it as well, and there's a more slightly different approach to the vocals, almost a proggy aspect to it at times as well for me personally, but a really good album, yeah, and worthy of just sneaking into the top 20 there, and a fabulous live band as well. Really fucking good. Everyone was good that night though with Conan at Boom, but yeah. Really good live show. So, yeah, worthy addition at number 20. Number 19. I think there's a lot of French, but I could be wrong. Hangman's Chair with Alona. A really nice sort of elements of doom gaze, if you call it. Stoner vibe, straight up doom vibe. Slightly gothy in places. Yeah, really good, really miserable record. And I really enjoyed it. This came out earlier in the year. So, again, one that I'd kind of dropped off the radar again with the amount of releases that have come out. But, yeah, cracking record. So if you've not checked it out already, Hangman's Chair, check them out. Really good record. Number 18, Black Metal Territory. And I've been listening to a lot. It's probably me listening to loads of black metal this year that knocked Devon Townsend as far down the list as he is, because that's the kind of polar opposite of relaxing stuff, just straight up aggressive, angry, evil black metal. And number 18, Black Braid. I think they're like a one-piece Native American black metal band. And it was a debut album. I'd heard a few of these sort of singles and various other things that they've releases, but the debut full-length one, Black Braid 1, and a fucking ripper from start to finish. Really good. Got all the black metal kind of A to B to C's that you want to hear on a black metal record, but also that's something slightly different with that Native American twang to it. There was an album by one of Mike Patton's side projects, Tomahawk. They did, I think it's their third album, an album called Anonymous, that is all old Native American sort of songs. And done brilliantly, and that sort of, I love that old Native American vibe to stuff. There's a slight creepiness to it, and perfect for this album. So yeah, Black Braid, number 18. Number 17, and speaking of Mike Patton, his latest incarnation this year, Dead Cross, and Dead Cross is second record, and a slow burner for me, this one. At first, I wasn't sure if I liked it, if I'm being brutally honest with you. It was sort of one of them that just very quick, I mean, it's not very long. It's sort of alternative metal done in the guise of sort of hardcore punk. It's a sort of throwback to hardcore punk stuff. And yeah, I loved the first record. That was more immediate, but not as longer lasting as this one. I think the more I listen to this second one, the more I think it's actually the better album of the two. There's a song on it, Nightclub Canary, I think it's called, or something. Fucking brilliant, and that was the one that hooked me into it to get into the whole thing. So very much a slow burner, and only up until I would say a couple of weeks ago, this wasn't in the top 25. This was going to be a worthy mention, but yeah, saving itself right near the end as being a slow burner. Number 17, Dead Cross, good album, check it out. Number 16, and the last one that doesn't make the number 15, White Ward and their album False Light. Again, insert image. I don't have a hard copy of this, although it's one that I'd like. Really good. It's got that kind of death Deaf Heaven vibe. Nearly said Deftones again. Deaf Heaven vibe, and I'm wearing the fucking t-shirt. But anyway, yeah, it's got the Deaf Heaven vibe, sort of almost mixed with Return to Forever style jazz fusion. It's a really good mix. It's not to everyone's taste. It is an acquired taste. So I'd say try it, keep going with it, try it out, because it's wanted to get past what you find awkward about it. But a really, really fucking good record. Their album before this, that's name escapes me because I don't have a copy of that either, was an absolute belter, and personally might be slightly better than this one, but another cracking addition. So yeah, if you like that sort of slightly ambient, spacey, almost shoegaze vibe to your black metal that you get from Deaf Heaven, check these guys out, White Ward. For a lot of people, Deaf Heaven have kind of really reined it in with the black metal stuff and gone more almost indie rock, as you could say, with it. Although I love the latest Deaf Heaven album, it's Ace. This one's got a lot more of the black metal vibes still on it. So if you're a Deaf Heaven fan and feel like that they've gone a little limp of late, check out White Ward, although I'm sure you already have. So that's number 16. Yeah, so where are we at the moment? Top 15 to come. And at this point, I'll mention some worthy mentions. What I will mention first, though, is the list that Gaz gave me. Now, he gave me a fairly comprehensive list, most of which were either already on my list or, like I say, it was Gaz that reminded me about Drudka. So they've kind of made their way in. The other ones, which on quick inspection are great albums as well, I have to say, because Gaz is always a great monitor of taste on these things. But great albums that I just haven't had a chance to check out properly. So I mentioned Antimatter. I think, is it a guy that's ex-Anathema or something like that? What I've heard sounds really promising though, but I just haven't had time to get into it properly, so I will check that out. 40 Watt Sun, again, another one. What I've heard sounds great, and I am just getting into them now. But just a bit late, I thought I couldn't wait any longer. Like I say, this is already a fucking week late, this video anyway. But 40 Watt Sun, which I no doubt on a few more listens, I will be regretting not putting it on the list. But yeah, it's one of them. Darker, Gad's mentioned, which I've not really listened to properly yet. So I need to get my arse into gear and get into that a bit more. So I will try that out. And he mentioned another one, Ars Onirica, which again, what I've heard, I really like. I just need to get my shit together and start listening to a bit more. But there's just too much stuff, and I don't have the time in my day. I'm a very busy man, you know. So that's Gaz's additions. I'm going to mention the worthy mentions now that didn't quite make it on the list. And first up, my good friends band, Kev and Arian and Dave and John and I forget the drummer's name. We're friends on Facebook. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Thanes and Thralls. If you like a bit of sort of folk rock done in the guise of the more modern Skyclad feel. I mean, yeah, it's Kev out of Skyclad anyway. But yeah, it's got a more modern Skyclad feel. I'd say with a sort of hint of Dropkick Murphys in there. So if anything like that floats you about, check out Thanes and Thralls. Great addition. And my good buddy Arian on bass. Fantastic. But a great album. Check that out. So worthy mention for them. Other worthy mentions, Bloodbath. Survival of the Sickest album. That was in my top 25 right up until about a week ago. And then I was reminded about Drudka and another band that has gone straight in higher up. It's that good. But we'll get to that. Pike versus the Automaton. Matt Pike's a side project. That was a really good album. And again, that was in my top 25 for a large chunk of the year and just got pushed out by... Not that there's that much wrong with it, but it just got pushed out by better albums. It's just one of them where it felt like it wasn't quite as good as Sleep, and it wasn't quite as good as High on Fire. It were decent, but... Decent, yeah. But a good effort. I really liked it. Who else? Thanes and Thralls, Pike versus the Automaton, Bloodbath, Creator, Voivod, Zentrix. We've had some fucking stunning thrash albums out this year. I've just not been in a thrash vibe. Creator always deliver, as do Voivod. And, of course, Zentrix coming back from fuck knows how long out of the game. Really good additions. Creator kind of like do what they say on the tin. You know what you're getting. And there's very little change from that. And I think Creator was close. It didn't quite make the 25 purely because of that, because it just sounds like every other Creator record over the last decade. So, but great, all the same. Voivod's new one, fucking brilliant, really good record. And again, they're mighty close There's a couple of these on here that were so close to get. I mean, I could. Pardon me, illness kicking in again. I could have easily done a top 40, easily. So yeah, Voivod, Zentrix, what else? Dark Throne, new album out this year. It's all right. It's not bad. There's a few, I don't know, just bits of it that felt like filler to me, but there's some really, really good tracks on there. But only because of that did it not quite make the top 20. Candlemass, great album, really, really good, and great to hear them back with the original vocalist, I believe, off of Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus. Really good addition, but not quite as good as 25 others, purely the reason that it didn't make it onto my list. Satan had another album out this year. Satan, you just know what you're going to get with them. Quality. Straight up Nwabum style heavy metal, and they do it fucking brilliantly. Better than anyone else doing it around at the minute, I would say. And I'm classing the big guns in there. You want classic Nwabum style metal, check out Satan and check out Lancaster Friends Eliminator. Don't bother with Maiden and Judas Priest anymore. Check out those two bands because they do it fucking properly. Great. Wormrot, really good album this year as well. That sort of grindcore type vibe. Yeah, some great stuff, and I thought it was worth a mention. Who else have we got? I think I'm pronouncing this now right. Ibridnos, Welsh black metal band. Really good album, and I discovered these via, it was either via Rock and Metal Plus, John, or Liam on the Death Doom Metalhead. It was either or, one of the two. So good find, really enjoyed that record. Head in Hand, another kind of doom gaze, gothy, doomy type sort of record. The Lord, the guy from Sun. Yeah, great album. A bit like sort of watered down Sun, but still good, really good record. Almost made it into my top 25. Boris, again, of that kind of drone type. They did one album that was really good, sort of droney, and one album that was almost like straight up rock tunes that I didn't get that. It just didn't really work on me. It just sounded like them doing imitations of straight up more rock stuff. Anyway, yeah, not on the radar, but the first one that they released, yeah, really good. And I will mention finally, and this band polarises many, Ghost. I've been a fan of Ghost since first seeing them supporting, who was it? Alice in Chains. Hang fire, I've got a delivery. I'm going to be right back, people. I'm back. So yeah, DHL delivery. It's this time of year. Getting all sorts of shite coming in. Right, let me reset myself. Where the fuck was I? Yeah, Ghost. I was discussing Ghost. Yeah, they're really polarised people. And I discovered them on their second album. They were supporting Alice in Chains. O2 in Leeds. And I come away sort of watching it thinking, I don't know if I think this is fucking dreadful or good. It was, yeah, it polarised me. But there was a few songs that stuck in my mind, downloaded a few and went from there. The first album's great. The second album's great. The EP that they did with covers on is great. The third album, Meloria or whatever it's called, is decent. I know this sounds ridiculous, but they feel like they've gone slightly too AOR for me now. Now, most people will be pissing themselves when I say that, because they'll probably think they were fucking AOR to start off with. It was like ABBA met Black Sabbath in some respects. I felt like they were a guilty pleasure for ages, but they were decent at what they did. Now they've just become a bit too stadium rock and AOR for me. Don't get me wrong though, this latest album very nearly made it onto my top 25 because there's enough quality on there. The guitarist that they've got in at the minute, in fact, is it the guy from fucking Opeth on some of them for the recording? Some stellar licks on there and solos and whatnot. And there's some great songs, but there's some fucking fairly awful ones as well. So because of that 50% decent, 50% fucking garbage, it didn't quite make the list. So let's crack on. We're into the top 15 now. And the first one I shall mention is a good friend Liam, his band, Consecration. Now, I discovered these via Liam, via his Death Doom Metalhead YouTube channel, but a worthy discovery. I've got the CD of the last one up there somewhere, but this is fucking ace. It's a great record. Just doom, death, majesty. and it don't let up right from the opening track. It's just fantastic. Like I say, it's just doesn't let up at any point. We've got there's the opening track Dweller, Ground to Ashes, and those are the first two tracks, and then it just keeps going. The last track though, that's name escapes me, what's it called? Under the Earth, really good. It's the penultimate track virtually, I should say, but yeah, really good. Just a really good album all in, and top work, lads. I was really impressed with it, and again, one of them, it's made the top 15 because I've played it a lot. It's had a fair few spins as this, so if you don't know about them, Consecration, get out there and check them out. Great band and a great album this year. 2023 will hold some treats as well, I imagine. Coming in at number 14, Fire Breather. I've forgotten the name of the album, Dwell in the Fog. Again, they're a Swedish kind of stoner, sludgy, doomy, just brilliant. Yeah, it starts on 11 and doesn't let up. Really fucking heavy. Fantastic riffs throughout and just keeps going. I think there's only 5 or 6 tracks on the album if I remember rightly, but again, that's had a fair few. I've only got the download, but yeah, that's had a fair few outings this year for me, so a really good album. Fire Breather, number 14. Number 13, brand new edition as of last week, and it's gone straight in at 13 because it is that good. And I discovered these again. I mentioned Liam from Consecration, Death Doom Metalhead. His last video, he mentioned this. Now, I'd vaguely heard of them before I bore you to death. I'm going to get the pronunciation right. Gairia, I think it's pronounced. Yeah, I think the Portuguese black metal, black and death, whatever you want to call it, outfit. Fucking hell, what a record. Like I say, Liam had mentioned it on his, and I'd vaguely heard of them because they were, I think, were they on tour with Gals Vid, or however it's pronounced, Winterfilleth, a month or two back. They did a tour with them. So I vaguely heard about them, but never got around to checking them out, and fucking hell, I wish I had. Their latest album, Mirage, absolutely blistering. Again, there's no filler on this whatsoever. It's just fucking great tune after great tune. And if you haven't checked it out, Gairia, Mirage, check it out. It's a fucking stunning record. So, not much more to say on that front, but straight in at number 13, and could have been higher, quite honestly, because it's getting a lot of plays at the minute. But again, only the download. Number 12, and a band I discovered last year, and I was late to the game, Mountaineer. I think they're from Oakland, in California. Another great addition. I discovered them on the Bloodletting album, their last one, and Bloodletting is still their best one, I would say. It's a fucking stunning record. And had I discovered it in 2020 when it came out, and not last year, it would have comfortably might have even been my top album of 2020. It was that good. But this is another fucking brilliant one. Again, what they might call doom gaze. It's doom, it's shoegazy. It's got there's a track on it that does sound like Deftones as well. Is it Bed of Flowers or Touch the Glass? It's one of those two. Yeah, real Deftones vibe to it as well, which I really enjoyed. And this is a fucking stunning record, and would have been higher up than number 12 were it not for it. Just my only complaint, it's too short. It's just not long enough. I think there's only 6 songs on here, and it's verging on an EP. I would say it's not quite long enough to be a full length, and that is the only reason that it lost a few marks and disappeared down to number 12. But other than that, it's a stun. All the songs are fucking great on it. I just wanted some more. I just wanted a few more. So yeah, number 12, Mountaineer. Number 11. And these were kind of some of the remaining tracks off the recording session for the Thrills of Joy album. That was one of my favourite ones of last year. Resentment is always seismic. There's some fucking brilliant ones on here. There's a Bad Brains cover on here that's really good. Another cover. And yeah, just some great stuff. Like I say, it's like the remnants of the Thrills of Joy album, but still another fucking classic. And I just think Napalm Death are fucking brilliant at the moment. I just think what they do is ace. Almost untouchable. But yeah, just great at what they do. So number 11. Number 10, Image, because I've only got a download. Strigoi. Gregor McIntosh of Paradise Lost. One of his side projects. One of his few, by the sounds of it. And a belter. blackened doom death, if you will. There's a black metal vibe with the blast beatiness creeping in there. Straight up hammering doom riffs, death metal style vocals and death metal riffs. It's just fucking ace. If all that ticks your boxes, and if you haven't already, check it out. And a worthy addition at number 10, Strigoi. Great stuff. I don't think I've got much more to say on that front with that. Yeah, just Gregor McIntosh, isn't it? Can't really fail with Gregor. And he struck gold again. Really good addition, number 10. So, into the top 10 now. What's at number 9, you say? Image here. I have ordered the record of this, but it's not here yet because I was like, I thought they'd sold out, but my mate John, Rock and Metal Plus, mentioned if I went on the website direct that they still have copies, and they've got a vinyl, so it's on its way. It's just not here yet. Thy Listless Heart. What an album. What a record. Just straight up, almost epic doom at times, I would say, because some of the vocal performances on it are stunning. Amazing clean vocals on there, and Simon from Thy Listless Heart has said some very kind things about my band Green Sabre, and I can't thank him enough for that. It's really nice. I mean, to get feedback like that from your peers, especially a peer that has put out such a stunning record, and maybe should have been slightly higher up than number 9, but yeah, number 9 is where it's sat at the minute. But a breathtaking record. Again, I think I might have discovered these via Instagram, as in someone that like the band followed, and we just sort of like came together that way, checked them out. It was an Instagram connection. And fucking hell, the album does not I mean, I think it's Simon, the guy behind it all. It's like a one-man project. So if you need any live musicians, check me out, because I would love to see this live. That'd be amazing. But yeah, again, all killer, no filler, breathtaking from start to finish. An absolutely blistering bit of doom metal, epic doom, whatever you want to call it, but some really soaring cleans. And just great. I can't really say much more on that one. Fantastic record. Number 8. Another image here, because I've only got the download. Blus Out Nord, French black metal band. Disharmonian's the name of the album. And it's a cracker. It does what it says on the tin. Great black metal, heavy, evil. But there's a kind of weirdness to some of it that I really like. It's just kind of an uneasy listen, I'd almost say, at times. They capture that eerie creepiness, I think, better than a lot of black metal. A lot of black metal is just straight in your face, which this is as well, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it captures, there's a creepiness to it, which I think is why it might be possibly the black metal entry that's highest up in my list, almost. I just think it ticks all the boxes. Bloodhouse Nord, check it out. Number 7. Again, I've not got around to the record yet. Russian Circles. Gnosis, however you pronounce it. Another cracking edition from Russian Circles. I think, is it Memoriam? Might be my favourite record of theirs still. But this one's great. I mean, with Russian Circles, you know what you're getting. They're kind of, all their albums are fairly similar. It's just that kind of, all instrumental, no vocals on it, apart from, like I say, on that Memoriam album, I think there's Chelsea Wolfe does vocals on the end track. But anyway, this one, again, more of what they do brilliantly. I discovered Russian Circles, seeing Mastodon live at Manchester a few years back. Russian Circles, I forget who else was on that night. Anyway, Russian Circles played, and Red Fang, that was the other band that was on. Russian Circles opened, and I was just blown away straight away. I think it was the track Deficit that they opened with, that blew me away, and I've been hooked ever since. And they just, they're great at what they do. There's that, like I say, there's an ambient post-metal vibe to it all, but the riffs are doomy enough in places, and the melodies, to call it maybe like post-metal doom. Really, really fucking good. I like what they do, and I'd be lying, some of you may already have noticed, but the way the guitarist adds harmonies over the top is something I like to not Rob. I like to use that influence in my stuff. I like how he adds them harmonies, and I do try and add that sort of element to what we do as well. So yeah, well played, Russian Circles. Number 7, great album. Number 6, mentioned earlier, Meshuggah. Again, it's a kind of if it ain't broke, don't fix it vibe with these guys. And again, more of the same. You've got to like it. I am not really a fan of djent music. I think most of it is absolute fucking bollocks. But these are the masters at it. And really, they are one of very, very few bands that do it brilliantly. And these do it better than anyone. Most djent is fucking garbage, like I say. This is great, and I like this album in particular because there's some slight proggy vibes, I would say, have crept their way into proceedings, and it just mixes it up enough. Violent Sleeper Reason, their last album, was really highly rated on my album of the year list of that particular year. But this one, yeah, is fucking fantastic, and better than that one, I'd say. Yeah, Welcome Return to Form, and they were fucking phenomenal live when I saw them earlier this year. So, yeah, great addition. Number 6. So, we're into the top 5, people. And another one that I'll have to insert an image. Yes, one of my top 5, and I haven't got it yet. I've pre-ordered the vinyl. I don't think it's out for... Actually, it might be out now, so it might be shipping its way towards me at some point. That wasn't it that turned up earlier anyway. But, yeah, Sacred Sun, British black metal. Again, I think they started as a one-man project, but he's actually got a sort of touring band now that he does. And the current album, The Foul Death of England. And it's just a fucking beast from start to finish. I got into Sacred Sun again. Liam, Death Doom Metalhead, thank you for putting him on my radar with their debut album. And this one, yeah, again, does not disappoint. It's fucking brilliant. Great straight up black metal. There's melody in there though as well. There's almost a folkiness at times, I would say, that comes into it. And the subject matter is great about the Peasants' Revolt from the was it the late 17th century, whenever it was, 16 something or other. Great subject matter and very poignant in these modern times, but that's as close to politics as I will stray. But yeah, a fucking fantastic record. Number 5, Sacred Sun, The Foul Death of England. Into the nitty gritty now. I'm coming in at number 4, Autopsy, Morbidity Triumphant. And Chris Reifert's second entry, as you will have noticed. And just Autopsy, since I would say over the last decade, I've like returned to form with a bang. Just fucking phenomenal. And I would say this album is right up there with their classics. There's a real Act of the Unspeakable vibe to this one that I really like, together with the slightly more modern Autopsy feel. Not that they change very much. What you get with Autopsy is very much what you get. But this is a fucking cracker from start to finish. Great artwork as well, as you always get with Autopsy records. And yeah, it's just a beast. And I think I might have rated this at like 9 out of 10. So we're into that territory now. But fucking fantastic record. Well done, Autopsy. Number 4. Number 3. Been out a while as well, but really enjoyed this record. Absent in Body. It's some of the guys from, what are they called? Belgian doomy, deathy band. The guy from Neurosis, who's since gone underground for reasons that I won't go into here. And Igor Cavalera on drums. This is a fucking brilliant record. It's just heavy as fuck throughout. It's almost like industrial doom, I would say at times. And it's just that sort of relentless nature of a lot of the riffage. It's just kind of like one riff and away it goes from there. And it's just heavy as fuck. There isn't much more I can say than that, but this has had heavy rotation all year. Didn't disappoint. If you haven't heard this Absent in Body record yet, Plague God, I believe it's called, yeah. Check it out. Absolutely fantastic. So that was number 3. Number 2, and so close to being number 1 this year. Conan. And just... I can't really say much more about how great this album is. Good artwork, fucking phenomenally heavy live band, and it is a phenomenally heavy record. Again, with Conan, you know very much what you're getting. heavy as fuck, just sludgy, doomy excellence. I've probably described them as that before. But yeah, Evidence of Immortality, what a record. Right from the off, what's it called? A Cleaved Head No Longer Plots. Straight from the off, and it doesn't let up. It is just great track after great track from that point onwards. So yeah, Cleaved Head, great one. Levitation Hoax, which I think was the first one that they might have released off of this, and I'm sure they played it at Desert Fest earlier this year. They played a couple of tracks off of this before it had come out, and that was one of them. Great track. There's one, Equilibrium of Mankind. I love that track. Might be my favourite track on the record. It's just got a really heavy, cyclic, fucking doomy, nod your head riff at the end of it to kind of see the track out. And the last track on here, Grief Sequence. Again, bit of a break from the norm for Conan. It's a slightly more almost droney, soundscapey type sort of vibe to it, but fucking excellent track and an excellent album. 10 out of 10. But it was beaten by one record, and since I've got it, it really hasn't been off the turntable or off the MP3 player or off whatever fucking medium I'm listening to it at the time. Ard's Take Up My Bones. Again, I think Gaz put them my way. And I was like, the keyboard player out of Winter Philith, and that was about as far as I knew. And fucking hell, not enough words can do this album justice. I mean, it's like monastic doom or whatever they call it, and it's the story of the removal of St Cuthbert's body from, like, is it from Lindisfarne? And so I should know the story a bit better, and it's probably written in here somewhere. But yeah, what a great concept record. I love it up there in Northumbria anyway. We've been on holidays up there a few times, and it's such epic scenery and a landscape. And this album is absolutely perfect. I've not been up there since this came out. I want to go up there and have it on the headphones and just check in all the atmosphere, because I bet this works tremendously up there. But I'm straying off the point of just how fucking great this record is. Again, there is not a bad track on it. The guy behind this, Mark Deeks, take a bow, because this, like I say, Conan was so close, but this has comfortably been my favourite record all year. Just some epic doom vibes to it. I love the monastic, the kind of Gregorian chant almost effect to a lot of the vocals on here. The cleans are great, the kind of melancholic piano running throughout it, the guitars are heavy as fuck, and it is sensational live. I was really lucky enough to catch their debut live performance with this at the Breadshed in Manchester earlier this year. They were supporting Winter Philith, who were fucking stunning that night as well. And hats off to Trivax, who opened that night, that were fucking great. But seeing this live, and it works brilliantly live as well. I mean, I went up to sort of shake Mark's hand afterwards, and I think all I did was just gush fucking platitudes about this whole thing. Yeah, sorry about that, Mark. Yeah, I didn't really know what to say. It was that good. It was just kind of like, just wonderful. Uncomfortably album of the year. If you haven't heard this yet, and you like doom metal, and you like melody, and you like that classic old early Anathema vibe, which I would say this is soaked in. There's so much classic old Anathema on here with that just rich melody. Songwriting, 10 out of 10. And again, not a bad track on it. And that is 2022's album of the year. Ard, Take Up My Bones. But as you can see, we have fucking gone on for some time here. I knew this would be a long one though. But what a year. And what a set of albums. And yeah, us at Green Sabre HQ, it's been a fucking great year. I will do another end of year video. It'll only be a short one, but just a rundown of what a good year it's been for us as well. So keep an eye out for that one. That should come out somewhere between Christmas and New Year's, if I get a chance to record it, basically. But yeah, so that's it. Those were the albums of 2022. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and I know it was a long one. So yeah, stay posted. Like I said, there might be one more before the end of the year. But until then, see you later, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.